You know, in English, it's often the tiniest words that make the biggest difference in how professional you sound. We're going to look at 5 super common preposition mistakes that are thankfully also super easy to fix once you know what to look for. So let me ask you this. Could one tiny extra word, a word you don't even need, be hurting your professional image? I mean, could it be making you sound less confident in that important meeting or email? Well, chances are the answer is yes. But don't worry, that's exactly what we're here to fix.
All right, let's dive into what I call the preposition trap. It's basically this habit we can fall into where we just toss in an extra word that doesn't need to be there, and it kind of weakens what we're saying. We're going to tackle 5 of the biggest culprits, especially the ones you hear all the time at work, so you can sound way sharper and more direct.
Okay, let's get right into it. We're starting with 2 mistakes that you hear all the time in meetings and around the office. I'm willing to bet you've heard these, maybe you've even said them this week. It's time to clean them up.
Okay, here's number 1. Picture this. You're in a meeting and someone says, "Let's discuss about the report." It sounds fine, right? Totally normal. It gets the message across, but there's a little extra word in there that we can just get rid of.
So here's the deal. The word discuss, it already means to talk about something. The about is already baked right into the verb itself. So when you say discuss about, you're basically saying, let's talk about the report. See? It's just a little bit redundant.
So look at the difference here. Let's discuss the report. Boom. It's cleaner, it's more direct, it just sounds more professional. The takeaway is super simple. When you use the verb discuss, just drop the about.
All right, here's another classic meeting room phrase. You know, when things are getting serious and someone wants to sound really firm, they'll say, "We need to emphasize on the deadline." They're trying to sound decisive, but you guessed it. Just like with discuss, there's an extra word tagging along for no reason.
And the reason why is exactly the same. The verb emphasize acts directly on whatever you're talking about. Think of it this way. You don't need a little word like on to act as a bridge. The verb is strong enough to connect directly to the noun. So the correct way to say it is just, we need to emphasize the deadline. Can you hear that? By just dropping that one little word on, the sentence just feels stronger, more authoritative. It's a tiny change, but it really makes a big difference.
Okay, so we've tackled the meeting room. Now let's look at some errors that pop up in everyday English, both at work and just, in life. These next 3 are just as common and they follow that exact same pattern, adding a preposition where you just don't need one.
Oh, this one is a classic, especially in emails. You need something from a coworker, so you type out, "I will request for a copy." It sounds kind of formal and polite, right? But it's not quite right.
And it's for the same reason we've been talking about. The verb request is a direct action verb. You request the copy. You don't need that little connector for. The verb is doing all the heavy lifting on its own.
So the fix couldn't be easier. Just say, "I will request a copy." It's cleaner, it's way more direct, and frankly, it's just how you'll hear native speakers say it. So next time you're writing that email, remember to just drop the for.
Okay, let's switch things up a bit and look at a more personal example. You hear this one all the time when people are sharing good news. She will marry with her fiancé. And you know what? It makes sense. You do get married with another person, but the verb marry in English works a little differently.
Here's the simple rule to lock in your brain. The verb marry connects 2 people directly. It's a powerful little verb. It doesn't need any help from the word with.
The right way to say it is just, she will marry her fiancé. That's it. It's clean, it's direct, so just remember this. You marry someone, you don't marry with someone.
All right, for our last one, let's look at a super simple everyday action. You might hear someone say, "He can't answer to the phone right now." It's a really small mistake, but it's one of those things that can just sound a little off.
And the rule here is pretty straightforward. Answering is a direct action. You answer the phone. You answer a question. You answer a call. You just answer it. That little preposition to is a total freeloader here. It's not needed at all.
And so the fix is, you guessed it, super simple. He can't answer the phone. That's it. By just getting rid of that little word to, the whole sentence sounds perfectly natural.
All right, let's bring it all together. We've gone through 5 of these common preposition traps, but I don't want you to think of these as mistakes you're making. Instead, think of them as 5 simple, easy steps you can take, like today, to make your English sound so much more polished and confident. So here it is, your new and improved checklist. Remember, the verbs do the work. You discuss the report. You emphasize the deadline. You request a copy. You marry someone. And you answer the phone. 5 simple fixes for a much cleaner, more powerful sound.
And really, that's the whole point here. This isn't about memorizing a bunch of boring grammar rules. It's about spotting these little habits that we all have and then making a conscious choice to use the stronger, cleaner option. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that takes your English from just good to great.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Now that your brain is tuned to spot these 5 extra words, what other little invisible English rules might be out there, just hiding in plain sight? Start listening for them. Pay attention, and I guarantee your skills are going to get sharper and sharper every single day.